Technical difficulties.
I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, thank you everybody for coming for another session of Valoris Tantibus Ravenshade, Session 2, entitled Dip Their Toes, Rejoice. When we last left our party, we described the bedlam that was happening in the city. All sorts of ne'er-do-wells coming up from the undercity and all parts just to wreak havoc, taking advantage of this city without power. The characters re-met Kosui, had a meeting with the Queen of Ravens, where she entrusted them with a task. After being whisked back, they're reunited with an old soul, Richado. They're also met by Inari, who graced the party with their light. The night went mostly uneventful for the rest. And let's pick up right there. The party has the floor.
So, yeah.
Oh,
What are we going to do now? With a city going in bedlam, we have someone who's dead coming back to life. And, yeah, but what makes it worse is that the clerisy knows that he's supposed to be dead. So, that's another complication. And,
They probably don't remember.
you know,
An outsider was buried, and we burned a body.
well, you know,
Details.
you say that, but then again, given the fact that the cleric didn't even know their own god, I'm inclined to believe you.
So, as an out-of-character question, which character have you decided to play?
I'm sticking with Boris. Richado, at Atherin's discretion, Richado is just going to be kind of a random background fill at the moment.
Okay.
If that,
Curious for my own sake.
If that's what I understood from our conversation that we had.
That is totally acceptable. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, so you'll just, if you go down to the Fuzzy Dragon, you might see him, or he'll be cooking some meals somewhere. Cool. But yeah, I'll be sticking with Boris for the time being.
Excellent. Well, you know, he's, as long as he doesn't make trouble, I doubt they'll have any questions for him. He, you know, theoretically died, initially helping the city, stopping the Brotherhood in service to the Merkava. So, they won't ask too many questions. Also,
to be fair,
not like they made us keep records.
True.
To be fair, about the not knowing the god thing, I'm not entirely sure that that's not by design.
You know, now that you say that, that makes it even worse.
I mean, at the very... Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's... it is a bit suspicious, but if that's what they grew up knowing, it wouldn't raise any red flags. Just a nameless theoretical pantheon? If that's what they know.
We pray the power comes back out to our clerics. Why question? I'll be honest, I'm still not entirely convinced that it does exist. I mean, clearly.
Sounded like Maddie roboted out.
Oh.
No, that might have been me.
No, that was you.
No, that was you. The live stream died.
Oh no!
Well, I guess I'll give the stream a second. Is the stream back?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's difficult, but I mean, the real question is, where do we start looking for the truth?
That is a good question. Shizuka,
Mm-hmm.
as you're kind of going about listening to the conversation, in your ear, you hear, "Serve me."
Shizuka just looks at Daigo, and then complete and utter looks to Boris and just says, "So I think your god's trying to page me, or whatever it is you serve."
Boris just shrugs and is like, and looks at you.
You know,
How
the
do you
clerics
know
that-
it's Mike?
You know, some clerics would actually, freak out over their deity, speaking, but
How? Okay, how do you assume that it is my god?
That's a good question.
I'm just going there because militaristic, totalitarian, and overall controlling the Merkava are. I'm pretty sure one of your tenets is service.
The Merkava aren't clerics.
Well, given based on how the society is formed, like service to state, service to church is one of your main tenets. And the fact that the voice just ordered me to serve it without giving any context, well,
So, a voice in your head told you to serve, and you assume it's a god?
I mean,
That
yeah.
might
Are you
say
sure?
more about you.
Do you need me to check you for madness?
Shizuka, in your ear again, you hear, "Serve me. Come, disciple."
Yeah. Shizuka just has the biggest what the hell is going on face. And she looks at Daigo. Daigo just gives her the confused look, like, what are you looking at me for?
Do not
she just
forget
sighs.
the past.
Also, Shizuka, how are you sure it's not your former patron? Did you not serve
Yes,
a deity at one point?
yes, I served Susanoo, but I would think I would know his voice, seeing as I gave a good portion of my life to service to him.
How
Has he
often
ever
has a
spoken
god
to you?
spoken to you?
Has he ever spoken to you before?
Shizuka opens her mouth huh.
Yes, you silly fox.
Was that in general or was that in?
That was the Shizuka.
Okay.
I need to go for a walk. Come on, Daigo.
What's the matter? Daigo says.
I need to think about a few things. Come on, I'll get you a snack on the way back.
Oh, yeah, Daigo's all in.
That was weird and cryptic. As soon as Shizuka leaves the room, that was weird and cryptic and almost definitely proves that I'm right.
That
Who knows? Maybe he wants a coffee.
That it was probably Susanoo.
Also,
in that case,
DM has a
yes.
question. Who here has the notebook of the message spell? The papers.
Unclear.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Shizuka is the last one to hold it.
No problem. Laughs in DM.
Oh, and just left for a walk. Wonderful.
Oh, I didn't say it was relevant. I was just asking for a friend.
For a friend.
For a friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is 20 d10 a lot of damage?
24.
Sorry, is 24 d10 a lot of damage?
Just asking for another friend.
Anyways,
I don't really know where to start. I mean, we could maybe start Oh, well, there was that small chapel down in the Undercity that we could go investigate, see if there's any disciples there.
That harvest festival also had I'm not sure what you people call it, but it looked like a Mikoshi to Krishnev.
A Makoshi?
Oh, I meant see if there's... Well, yeah, I guess we could look into that. Oh, you know what? We did just buy a house with an extremely extensive library.
That you did.
This is a good
look
point.
into creation myths and or like historical texts back around the founding of the clerisy.
Yeah, see if you can find anything about Krishnev in particular. It's the only name from this pantheon that we know anything about.
I mean, you're also welcome to help.
Yeah, I guess I am. Damn it.
All right, so you guys are going to scour the library, looking for anything on essentially the Tantibinian gods.
Yup.
Ideally Khrushchev, since that's the one you've interacted with the most.
But also, like, if there's any historical texts from the founding of the clerisy, which I assume Boris knows a general year of.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Those who are searching, Maddie, I'll roll for you.
Okay.
Roll investigate at advantage.
Okay.
In the dice tower, or just?
Oh, I'm doing it in the bucket.
Yeah, and the bucket's always more
Way
fun.
more fun.
Yeah, fair enough.
Investigate. I'm not one of those investigators who's good at things like investigating.
I have a +3.
Investigate.
I have a -1 because it's intelligence and I don't have proficiency.
That was one of the things I put proficiency in. I think I did that entirely out of stereotyping.
All right, so as you guys take a little while to investigate, by the time you're done, I imagine Shizuka will probably have finished their walk and rejoin the party. But you are going to find some manuscripts and tomes detailing. Mostly, it's going to be a historical. Somebody had kind of gone through and done the history, the chronology of what happened within Tantibus. Obviously, there are years and dates, but we're not so concerned so much with the specifics. But about 50 or 60 years ago, there's basically kind of a schism that formed within the clerisy. And it really kind of drove them to two different sides. One side was pretty much fine with the discovery, so to speak, as kind of how they're going to phrase it, with the new deities being introduced. The other side was almost branding the kami as inconsequential, very indirect, not really having much to do with Tantibinian morals, values, those sorts of things. So you get the gist of that side viewed it as, why do we really worship something that has very little impact on us? And over time, of course, one side
Irony.
one side kind of rose to power. Again, it's kind of it's very dry reading, as it's mostly just kind of like journal entries, these sorts of things, tenets, laws that are kind of enacted. And over the course of the next 50 or 60 years, you see pretty much the church went from, I hate to use the word power, but like went from kind of just, a very humanitarian sort of all-encompassing of the city to a centralized kind of power and faction, and it really rose to the top of the city.
Cult. Got it.
Well, I guess a political cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference between a cult and a religion is the size, is the number of people in it.
Oh, I was saying fanaticism kind of thing.
I was making a joke.
Nice. It's just the amount of Kool-Aid you drink.
Continue.
That was pretty much the end of the historical. Now, you guys, one of you guys rolled really well, and you guys are going to stumble upon a different book. This one is more, it is less historical fact and more fan fiction-y, conspiracy theory sort of thing. And it's kind of entitled The Dark Secret. And it kind of goes through and names a few odd coincidences around with the church. One of which, it's happened about maybe 20 years ago. There was a great inquisition, and the church, and basically the forming of the Bogatyr, they went through and branded heretics. Very specifically, like a ring, a tattooed ring around the neck and throat of individuals. That is very much at the forefront. Some say it locked away dark and kind of devilish powers. Others say it was a form of mind control. Others say it was, just another, like a physical, social casting mark.
Does this mark sound familiar?
I was about to ask, what's the shape of the mark?
Oh, he said it's like a ring.
It's like a ring. Think of something that's almost tribal in nature. Something along those lines.
Is this what Esau showed us?
You would definitely lead yourselves to believe that is exactly what that is. He was a man of very few words.
Okay, and it seems like this is then the branding of the, quote, heretics, those who believed in the kami.
Yes, a lot of them were persecuted for worshiping the kami, but again, some people viewed it as a form of mind control, like population control. It's a conspiracy book. Some viewed it as, again, like population control in terms of social casting, because again, the church very much rose to power during this point. They kind of catapulted themselves to a major player within the city. Again, some would say it sealed or locked away devilish sort of inhuman powers.
Interesting.
So, other question.
Uh-huh.
Does it mention any kind of diaspora of these people? Or have they, like, were they all forced out of the city? Were they, like you say, persecuted, like everyone was murdered?
No, that's a very good question. So, most of those who were kind of cast or marked were forced into indentured servitude, mostly in the Quarter of Stone. However, some did choose exile.
So mostly in the Quarter of Stone. So we might still find... In any case, we probably should let everything cool down a little before we go and...
Well, the bigger concern here is that... I don't know, my concern is that your religion is willing to go to the extent of persecuting and enslaving or putting into indentured servitude anybody who disagrees with them, or exiling. They want it to be their religion to the exclusion of all others. That in itself is very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Because what extent will they go to prevent discovery.
Yes, a lot of what you've read about, the church enacted measures of control.
Well,
About this
There's
time,
a couple people.
Shizuka would rejoin the party.
welcome back.
You would find them kind of studying over books, going, look what I found, that sort of thing.
So either the deity that you worship, Boris, the deity that your people worship is very different from every other deity, and wants it worship to the exclusion of all others, even by those who do not believe, or there's something seriously wrong and somebody wants to drain power or accumulate power from the people. It's looking more and more like they're accurate. What we were told is accurate.
Out of character, what we were told.
That it's
right.
a man-made, some kind of man-made
Right.
construction, or from this it seems more like it might be a discovery. They discovered some kind of artifact which would fit with the readings we've gotten.
That is correct.
And that artifact gave them the power to accumulate magics and energy from the people, from the thoughts of people, the prayers of people. A pseudo-divine artifact. Which is more concerning. I also have a thought.
Maybe.
Given how horrendously our last set of discussions went, where we were having planning sessions, we might want to look into seeing if Kiev can enchant, at the very least, a room or two in this place for planning against divination.
That might be wise. Especially when the both the Bogatir and the Makava know of this place.
Oh,
Or at
not
least-
even that. Well, I was also mostly referencing what happened with Maldark in his estate at his party. But
When he scryed on me, yeah.
yeah, I mean, luckily they don't really have things of ours. They would have to know of us for it to be effective, but I'm fairly concerned about this. That might be a thing we can ask about next time we see him. Possibly send word to him, ask about price.
Out of character, you said Shizuka's back at this point, right?
Yes.
By the way, hey Zuka, how'd your talk with Suzuna go?
I don't think they want to talk about it.
Huh?
I guess not.
Yeah. Guess Richter's AFK.
By the way, Boris, have you ever heard the voice of your god?
Discord keep
No.
dying of fire.
Yeah,
Oh my. That's what I think
So
too.
I was trying to talk, but apparently Discord's like, yeah, no, I'm not picking up because fuck you. But
sounds about right.
anyways, so when you said she'd come back, she'd asked, hey guys, what are you researching here? Then Peter had answered, so I thought you had heard me.
Oh. Oof.
Anyways, so Shizuka was like, he didn't really say much other than serve me, and so on and so forth. Very different from how I remember him.
That was a lifetime ago.
Yep.
Literally.
I mean,
Yep.
since he's also been summoned to the prime material plane for at least a short time, which may have improved his influence.
Out of nowhere, those who with really high passive perceptions or very good hearing, you hear like a rending metal sound and a pop coming from somewhere down the hallway.
Jesus, I use my extremely high speed and run down the hallway.
All right. When you exit the library, down the end of the hallway, one of the spare kind of washrooms, you can see water flowing out from underneath the door.
That doesn't look good.
Shizuka, this one's on you.
Wait, can you repeat that? You went robotic.
Water flowing out from under the door, and that's you, not Catherine.
Why is this on me?
Okay, the god of the ocean is talking to you in your ear, and then this happens.
Correction.
Ask him what he wants.
Correction. God of storms and the ocean, not tap water.
I step behind the door and open the door, so like it's between me and Shizuka.
And Shizuka just like walks in like, what the hell?
I taste the water. Is it salty?
So, no, it is not salty. However, one of the pipes has indeed bursted, and it is pouring and spilling out water.
Huh.
This is why I prefer wells.
Yeah, where's Naz? We need him to fix something.
Where is Naz?
Anybody know the mending spell?
I think I actually do.
Naz is probably out with your newfound friend.
We have friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking I can't remember his name.
Who's this guy with swords and bow?
I imagine Muranaka was like, can somebody tell me what's going on? And the gnome goes, oh, I can tell you everything.
Oh god, and then he just spends the next couple days hearing the Naz version of everything that's happened.
That's perfect.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh goodness.
Also, I can cast mending, so I'm gonna cast mending on it.
Okay, go ahead and mark that off. You
cantrip, so.
Oh yeah, thank you. In second edition, I don't think it's a cantrip. I think it's a first level spell.
Cantrips have limited use in older editions.
Yeah.
So as you mend the pipe and kind of seal it back, the water stops, but obviously it's gonna need cleaned up. And Shizuka, you hear,
I can't wait forever. Your power is great.
Shizuka just sighs and snaps her fingers, casting prestidigitation on pretty much cleaning up the mess. And she's like, this is gonna be a long night. I'm going for another walk. Come on, Daigo. We'll get dinner.
Shizuka, in your head, you know how prayer works? Ask him what he wants.
She just gives Hal a look that says, just shut up.
Alright, or do it your way. But you get to clean up the messes every time this happens.
She just cleaned it up with prestidigitation.
I know, I'm just reminding
Details.
you.
And she'll just go to her room and just assume a Seiza style and then just meditate.
perfect. And in your meditation, you're focusing on Sasano?
Yeah. She would be holding her holy stone, but she gave that to Zendra, so...
Okay. Well, in spirit, as you kind of clutch to something that used to hang so intimately close to you, you reach out and you feel the floor get damp beneath your legs there, kind of soaking into your cloth a little bit. And you're going to be cascaded with a certain vision. you're taken back about 4 days prior. You're kind of out of body, out of character, looking up and over the archway. You see the flash of different lights as they collide against one another. And you see a blue streak being sent far, far to the west. And this almost black raven, it stretches out to a point and follows behind. And this blue streak crashes into almost the center of the port, smashing open one of the piers, breaking apart one of the great ships there, and following right behind this long lance of black light, splashes down into the water. And you can see the sailors and portsmen just kind of echo in panic at this just the sight as water kind of rushes up against the port side, kind of drenching some of the local establishments. And you come back. You are, not only is like the lower half of your clothing wet, but the top half you're in a sweat, a cold sweat.
It like almost like falling out of the sitting position, but just stumbling a bit. And like, okay.
Yes, you see now. Come to me, my disciple.
And like, she'll just let out a small chuckle, like, as my god commands. And she'll get up, cast prestidigitation on herself to dry her off, and on the start making her way out.
Okay.
Quote unquote discreetly.
Are you informing the others? Or are you going out on your own?
Out on my own.
Okay.
I assume that went well.
Daigo just gives you a look.
So I do have another question.
Mm-hmm.
While Shiz is off doing her thing.
Okay.
Is there a book on what did you call them? The divine objects, basically.
Divine objects.
Like the discovery?
Yeah, the ring itself as well. Any book that makes mention of that and or other objects of its kind of class.
So, make me I'll roll for you. Sorry.
Since I still can't join.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Check.
Well, you're apparently the investigation expert. So, as you kind of go through and look for another book, you find a tome that it looks to be incredibly old. Great care has been taken in its preservation. You kind of knock a little bit of dust off of it and carefully kind of start rifling through the pages. This book it's written in the form of like prose. It's not like a historical diagram. It is though somebody has transcribed kind of an oral story, an oral tradition of one of the bards of Eld. Badonk-a-donk.
Ring, ring, ring.
Shizuka? Cool.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding.
Yep, I will have to go check. I have to go grab my laundry.
Okay.
Be right back.
So,
as he's reading through this, he's going to think, maybe I should, thinking on it, he thinks maybe he should go grab Richado.
okay. Richado is kind of chilling on the couch. It looks like he had just made himself a little bit of stew.
Richardo, was it? I know we haven't met, but I'm Boris. I was part of your party after you Yes.
Wow, you're all very good at making things not awkward in any way whatsoever.
Right? And he's kind of like spooning in some of the stew, and you're like kind of like stumbling over your words. He doesn't quite ever get the bite into his mouth for about 30 seconds while he's trying to listen.
Eat your food. Let me explain. I found a book. It seems like it's more prose rather than manuscript, if that makes sense.
Richardo looks at you and he's like, look, I haven't eaten in a long time, and if you continue in this manner, I'm probably not going to eat tonight. So can you just hand me the book?
Yeah, sure.
Man.
Boris hands over the book.
And Richardo starts to flip through it, and like just little bits of melody as he's kind of trying to put things together. And after maybe, I don't know, a couple minutes, he goes back to his stew and shoves some of that in his face very quickly to try to finish it off. And you might want to get the others. You see my loot? Or my shamisen?
Sort of.
I do believe we
I have
actually
that,
have
I
it.
think.
We did manage to make sure your stuff didn't fall into the wrong hands.
He goes to grab that and is tuning it. Again, he had requested that you go grab the others.
So, yeah, we probably would have given Richardo all of his stuff back.
Yeah, I figured. Or it was just somewhere in the house.
Also, wow, Boris. Here I was thinking that humans were masters of communication, but you certainly impressed me.
I aim to serve. Listen, it's kind of weird to describe, hey, I'm the guy that replaced you. In nice terms.
Basically.
Oh, no, it's really easy. Remember that time you died? He's the guy we picked up afterwards to help out.
If you don't want to be blunt, here's a way to say it. Hi, I'm Boris. I was the guy who assisted your friends while you were indisposed.
Nice. I'm the other adventurer.
I'm the other adventurer.
Anyways, so you guys all kind of congregate, I'm assuming, and he gets out the shamisen and starts to kind of pluck a chord and practices a little bit of melody, and he's essentially going to kind of recite the prose for you. Obviously, I'm not going to do it in prose form. So it's a recounting of kind of an origin story, so to speak. It starts off on just like a cloudless sky. The stars are shining through a black sort of canvas, and from that, it goes through the traditional myth of Izanagi. We know most of that story. However, it really starts to elaborate on the Golden Emperor. So it starts to tell a tale of a young boy, really, just cresting into manhood, as he's looking to do something with his life, but doesn't know exactly what it is. He kind of looks up to the night sky and kind of whispers a wish or promise, and the sky answers in kind, streaking across no star, but some sort of heavenly body. It streaks through the air and crashes into Valoris. And the man goes on a quest, seeks this out, and it talks, the hero's journey, trials and people to help guide him along the way, setbacks, etc. And he's finally confronted with the discovery of this heavenly body that fell to Valoris, and in it describes like petals of white and pinkish red sakura, really, and arising from this crater, it describes this gargantuan beast of wing, fang, and flame. And this boy is able to overcome this creature. In the prose, it sings of his bravery and sort of good tenets, his cleverness, his strength, that sort of thing. This boy almost tames and befriends this beast, and it goes on a little kind of side stanza, and it talks about this heavenly body was so prominent that Valoris itself sent messengers to greet it. And it talks about what you could equate to as being the first dwarves are basically risen from the earth to meet. And it goes on and on, of course. And then it starts to talk about the formation of the three major kingdoms. And you've heard most of that before. But what's truly interesting is it talks about the segregation of man. Not all men wanted to go out and live under rule. And it talks about these men that wanted to pull away from society. It talks about some of them moving off into the woods, some of them moving underground and kind of forming their own societies. But what's truly interesting, it talks about the transformations of these people. Those that moved more into the woods, it talks about their ears elongating, their lives extending. Those who traveled underground, talks more, about their eyesight changing, kind of forsaking the laws of man and creating their own. And then it pretty much just stops there. With the end of the Golden Emperor having set everything in motion, he pulls back from society and goes to form his own kingdom, as he has given this over to humanoid kind. Sorry, that was lengthy. And Machado's immediately puts the shamisen down, grabs his bowl, and goes back to get more stew.
My thanks.
Interesting.
Does this sound like a familiar creation myth to you?
I don't know, have we ever heard this before?
You've seen the frescoes and such before, and some of the work that Kosui had found as well.
Oh! That tapestry thing in his castle. That hallway that we went down.
Yes.
Oh, the artifact is the heavenly body thing. It's a divine artifact that fell from the sky. It must have divine energy. Is it essentially a fallen deity, maybe?
Boris just kind of watches Hal's face contort in different odd ways, and is just like, I'm going to assume he's thinking very hard.
So we found last time remember the time we told you about when we fought Kosui?
Yes.
He had a set of tapestries that basically told that story, but in like pictures. Essentially, I think the artifact that we've been told about is what your prayers go to. Possibly, so the one thought I had is it's possibly a dead god that still maintains some of its power and is not truly a god, but is essentially it was manufactured to have the same effects as a god when prayed to, maybe? Unclear. But I think it may be what you pray to. But that's just my theory. It could also just be some kind of heavenly artifact.
Don't look at me. This is way over my head.
Oh, this is just me. I'm basically making things up.
Make things up at your pleasure. It's better than any explanation we've had so far.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I only caught half of that entire spiel.
Essentially, the Golden Emperor prayed to the sky. Something fell down. He came and found it. Founded the Three Kingdoms. I think that the heavenly artifact that essentially gave him his power is what they're using as their god.
And you say that there is a tapestry that Kosui had that describes all of this. Do you
kind
think
of a pile of rubble?
We still have Kosui, however?
Well,
No, we don't.
We don't.
no.
Damn it.
Also, I don't think he's gonna be in much of an answering mood.
Yeah, you guys were really mean to him the last time.
He's kind of a
I
dick.
wasn't.
He's kind of a dick.
Most of you were pretty mean to him last time.
I was definitely mean to him last time, because he's kind
This
of
is
a
why you
dick.
don't antagonize the demigod, the godlike.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but he's a dick.
This is why you don't ever piss off the godlike beings.
Eh,
This is why you're the religious one.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I do have to say, you're very much the religious one. Even the cleric's not this religious.
One thing that
being
this
said,
story,
God.
one thing that this story did leave out. So, you guys know just through general kind of dynastian lore that this kind of the rock that fell. There's kind of odd stories, and it's almost like the creature that they referred to was what they referred to in myth as dragons. It's where
yeah, that makes sense.
I kind of gathered that from the whole wing and fang thing.
yeah.
And flame.
Yeah.
You never know if I have to use the clue bat or not.
Yeah.
And welcome, Ryukin.
So yeah, maybe some kind of dragon fell from the sky? Who knows?
Dragon, you say?
50 years ago?
No, this would have been from the first age.
I'm saying that
got-
50
they just-
years ago they discovered it
Right.
and started worshipping it.
That's still not a very long time.
How big? Okay, out of character. Would I know how big a dragon is?
I mean,
Alternatively,
the story. I mean, just you imagine any story that you have ever heard of a dragon, and there you go.
okay. Would I know of any building in the city that is big enough to house something like that?
A lot of them, if I had to guess.
So, there are a few very large structures here in Tantibus. One, most of you have visited, is the museum. Two,
Ah,
one of those of you have visited intimately would be the clerisy itself.
that would make sense.
Even the Tenyo Council is not that big.
Yeah, the center of the clerisy, so your temple essentially, would be, I guess, the prime location. secondary.
There is
the
one other
museum makes
location
sense.
that's pretty big. You guys know of the circus in town. It covers a lot of land, but as far as a large structure, it's not like a building proper, so to speak. It's more tent.
Good to know.
The circus, you say?
Just throwing that out there.
What? I don't think I've heard of the circus. What is it?
Yeah,
What is this circus you speak of?
Other god that we don't mention, what is this circus?
Oh, that's a question. Boris, have you ever focused on your deity? Do you get like a sense of directionality to where your prayers go? Does your religion require you to face a direction when you pray?
Have you ever heard voices in your head?
I need to know
Well,
the
I'm not-
exact specifics on how your class works.
I haven't heard voices in my head, but no, I've never heard of anything specific about which way we pray.
I only ask because some religions have you face a specific direction, essentially facing a point of religious power, a focal point.
As an out-of-character example, Islam does that.
Yeah. I was also saying, like, maybe Susanoo has you face the sea, or, you face the direction the sun rises for Amaterasu, etc. That was my thought, is, if that is the case in your religion, maybe it's, there's a center of divine power that you face unknowingly. But it does not appear to be the case. At least not that we're aware of.
Well, I would say this: if we're this close to it, maybe there is no need.
True. It's
So
also
I wouldn't.
underground. The museum, though, that could actually be fitting. A museum of religious and historical artifacts could be fitting for a dragon's hoard.
What if they just had? Do we know if the It didn't say if the dragon lived, correct?
Well,
You don't know.
dragons do live a very long time, from what I've heard. I don't know if they live.
It is stated that the Golden Emperor bested and befriended this monster that rose from the heavenly body.
So, he didn't kill it.
I was going to say maybe it's just displayed up all as a set of bones,
Possible.
but
Powerful enough dragon could potentially live this long. It would be ancient, but it could. Anybody else have ideas?
I do, but I'm not sharing them.
That was an incorrect question.
How dare you?
I
no,
do, but I'm not there.
You got back like
No.
20 minutes ago.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. So I'm going to jump over to Shizuka as they decided to prowl the city streets alone.
Oh, right, yeah.
And more specifically, like, she was making her way to the docks.
Correct. So as you overlook the quarter of Salt, you can see the damage that has been caused here at the scene. Part of one of the piers is completely shattered. You can see even the floating remains of one of the great galleys that made berth here in the harbor. As you kind of look down, for just an instant, you can see a faint, almost bluish turquoise glow underneath the water.
You're getting closer, my disciple.
So she makes her way like toward the point where she's just above the glow.
Like standing above the water?
Like she like there's a point where she can look down upon it, or like she can see it more directly.
As you you could kind of move towards the dock. Several people are kind of staring at you oddly, but you give them no mind and continue forward. About halfway, you can see the destruction that's kind of floating there in the water. As you look down, the sea, of course, is kind of choppy, but just around a particular area, it calms for just a second. The waters kind of swirl. The blue and turquoise lights kind of flash and congregate. And as you look down, you can see that some of the debris almost looks like it has formed some sort of structure underneath.
Her way where the water is calmed. Like even if it means her like having to jump into the water.
Okay. Do you have any means to hold your breath?
No, I don't actually. So if anything, first she's going to bless herself, if anything, to at least give her some sort of, advantages going down. And she's just going to take a deep breath and then just make her way down.
Okay. So, as even with holding a deep breath, you can get down close enough to kind of investigate this structure. It seems fairly large, but you're just not able to hold your breath long enough to actually get down and into the structure. But you do feel a connectedness, a closeness.
So, of course, she's forced up for air. Like, she'll take a gasp, and then she'll go down again. No, before she goes down, she'll cast Polymorph on herself. And, hang on, let me pull up something that can swim and can hold its breath.
Fish.
Well, yeah, I was thinking of a kind of fish that represented Tusana, but let's go with, I don't know, shark for now.
Okay.
Oh god, a shark! Kill it!
And she swims down towards the temple.
All right, so swimming shark, do. As you move down towards this structure, make me a perception check.
As a shark.
Right, I have to look that up first. 5e tools.
Oh, that's awesome. Dude. About this time, jumping back to the other group, Muranaka will rejoin the group there. He seems a little perturbed as the gnome was in great detail about nothing of importance.
Well, welcome back, Muranaka. Hope Naz didn't talk your ear off too much.
Since you were here, we had Naz kind of fill your character in his very gnomish, insane ways.
I see. So, what's going on over here?
We figured out
Heresy.
what the divine artifact might be. We think it's a giant ancient dragon, possibly. Or something that came down with it when the Golden Emperor was a child.
So yeah, heresy.
I understand some of these words.
Was one of the words you understood heresy?
Yes.
Excellent. So we might have a lead on what the divine thing that is in existence here is.
And of course, we need to find this thing before, what's her face?
Yes, Queen of Ravens.
Queen of Ravens. We didn't get a name?
She has one. I'm just not as good at remembering
She
it as
has
Queen
several.
Of Ravens. Yeah, there's quite a few names.
So,
'Cause I was trying to pull a name and I just came up with blanks.
Co-
And we need to
Kosui,
do that before the Queen of Ravens destroys the city.
Well,
So-
she didn't give us a timetable, so I assume as long as we're making a good faith effort, should be fine.
Right.
For now, I don't think she has unlimited patience for our timetable. Maybe, like, waiting for us to show at least some progress before halting the big explosion. Who knows?
Of course.
all right, Shizuka, as you dive deeper, you can see a large, kind of a hole in the side of one of these structures. Do you wish to proceed in?
Yes.
All right. As you kind of wiggle your way in, it's a kind of a small tunnel that leads itself to what appears to be a dead end. But as you kind of look up in your sharky form, you can see as though the water kind of crests and stops. Maybe it's a small pocket of air into another room. You don't see any other way forward.
Like she'll move like her shark nose up into like that swirling area. Like if there is a pocket of air there, like she would feel it.
As you look up and kind of stick your shark nose out of the water, it is a much larger room. It looks like part of the floor has bursted away, and you might be able to hop out.
So she'll surface. Like her fin is popping out of like the water. Drop the polymorph and then swim up.
Okay.
And as she climbs out, she'll cast Prestidigitation to dry herself off.
And I shared a map.
Oh boy.
Well, that's a lot more area than I thought there'd be.
Yeah.
Yes, inside you can kind of smell the must and salt in the air. You can see a lot of the walls are kind of ramshackled and built partial stone mix, but you see like planks and bits of mast, as though this has been, although it seems rather old, it looks like it's just been kind of cobbled and thrown together, mixed in with a little bit of coral.
Does the coral look natural, or does it look like it's been like adorned or decorated in any way?
It doesn't look decorative. It's just kind of pieced in every now and then.
Okay. Huh. And she'll just make her way.
All right. So as you start to move down, the room, of course, fills with water. There's a little bit above, enough that you could breathe, but you can't touch the bottom. It seems the floor is presumably very deep. It's hard to see the bottom.
Hang on. I have something here. She's going to cast Produce Flame and hold it over the area. Like, can she see anything in the water?
You may make a perception check.
Wait, why didn't it roll? What the hell?
I know you guys are having a hard time connecting. It's just unfortunately one of those bad internet days.
No, like I double clicked it didn't connect, it didn't roll, so that's why I was confused.
Shizuka, you go to put your foot in the water, but something kind of grabs your attention. As you look down, you see a few swirling masses. They seem to be swimming at a very high rate down towards the bottom of this water-filled room.
Huh. Do those resemble the swirling masses that were like in the surface?
No, there's definitely something corporeal in there.
And she'll just like call out like, hello?
You don't hear any answer, but they kind of, again, these black shadows that were dancing across the floor kind of go off and hide in the various dark spots in the room.
Like, she'll take a deep breath and just like to calm herself, like, look, if we're here as servants of Lord Susanoo, we have nothing to fear from each other.
Whatever it is, does not answer you.
Alright. So she's actually gonna try something. She's going to like break the surface of the water with her rapier and see if there's any reaction.
Okay. Let's roll initiative.
Ah, crud.
Get it in a square. There we go.
Of all times to not have a lightning element spell.
All right. Something swims up very close. You can see it get very close to your rapier. You feel a small tug at it. You have initiative.
First off, Shizuka's not hostile to if she doesn't want to come off as hostile, so she steps back, pulling her rapier out of the water and resheathing it.
Okay. Do you have any actions that you wish to do?
I have several, but they're all offensive, and she doesn't want to come off as offensive to whatever these are.
Okay.
So she's just actually going to like attempt to parlay with them, but she doesn't know what these are, so...
Okay. Perfect. So, at the end of your turn...
So she would have stepped back here.
A large creature comes to the surface. It sees you down the end of the hallway and extends its claw-like grip at you. Let's do some damage. First attack. Oh, I rolled a 1. 2 pincer attacks. Okay. Second attack. Really? All right. So as you're kind of moving back from this target, it lashes out with its pincers, just missing you. And now we're at the top of the order.
Shizuka, like, as she sees, I'm assuming this crab creature.
Something like that, yes.
And she thinks to herself, I'm going to assume this is one of your playful methods of testing me. She says, like, half sarcastically.
You do not sense your god in this being.
Alright then. She takes a step back. So actually, where is the creature, by the way?
What
in
is
the red
it?
Square? No, where is it?
It's partially in the water.
Reached from her. Okay.
Yeah,
she's gonna take a
very
step
big.
back. And she's going to aim an Eldritch at the spot that just reached for her, basically the claw.
Yeah, you can target it. You can see it.
Okay. And because I am level 8, I get 2 rays, correct? Yes. So, attack 1. Does it hit?
Did you not target it?
There's nothing to target.
You can't see it?
Yes, there is. The room right in front of you?
Yeah, there's nothing for me to click on.
You don't see...
No, all I see is a red square.
Yeah, you should be able to target that. There should be a circle in that. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm clicking everywhere in it. I can't.
A 22
target
will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Weird.
Okay.
Good internet, Atherin.
No, I targeted it for her. All
And
right,
then
so 8 damage.
Second beam.
Is a strike.
And damage.
All right, for another 8. All right, on its turn, it submerges under the water.
And Shizuka just sighs. Well, I'm not going that way. Thanks. Crab thing, whatever you are. And she just turns to walk around.
Okay. I'm going to jump back over to the other group. What are you guys doing?
Making marshmallows. No.
I don't know. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's
an excellent question.
So basically, we know where the thing has come from. Ooh. You know what? I've got an idea. Is there a book on the founding of the city?
You can make another investigate check.
I'll help with this.
I mean, I can't. But
I will help with this. I will do an investigate check. And we can do it blind because hilarity.
because if we can find something on the origins of the city, we might be able to figure out where they're hiding stuff.
All right. So you kind of skirt through the library again. You don't find necessarily a book on the founding of the city, but you do see kind of a short story. It's written more as a fiction piece than anything, but something about it catches your fancy. It's a story about. It's set in Tantibus, but again, this would be like a little bit of reading, but it's talking about a family, specifically a few brothers, and kind of their trials and tribulations of them surviving in the city across a large time span. It's like they're, again, it's a more of a fanfic piece, so very anachronistic. It talks about the different ages. Some of it is when Tantibus is kind of starting to form, but it's like, from the writer's perspective, it's like these brothers witnessed the complete rise of Tantibus.
Cool. That's actually an interesting story. Does it say like where they lived and like when does this go until?
This was written a long time ago. It's not like up until current age.
Okay,
but it spans kind of the formation of the city and maybe the past 1,000 years or so.
Interesting. So pre new religion.
That is correct. It doesn't make any mention of the new gods.
Okay. Any other ideas of what we should research?
I know you guys had talked about seeing Kiev. You have no idea where Shizuka ran off to.
Yeah, so that might be the next thing to do is go see Kiev.
Actually, where did Makoto go?
Just right outside.
Oh, okay.
Looking around, seeing if anyone's coming. I didn't go like any.
I'm with you. Yeah, you guys noticed that Makoto had stepped out of the room. You find him just kind of standing outside.
See, or at least get a quote.
All right. You find anything else with those books?
Story of some people during the founding of the city. Not sure if it's relevant.
Sounds equally as boring as the last ones we looked at.
Last ones were definitely relevant.
Yeah, but I don't like reading.
Yeah, to each their own.
I can agree with you there. It's a bit slow for me. Then again, we only live till like 30, so to each their own.
You only live till 30? That's gotta suck.
It just means you can't dwell on your decisions so often.
Fair point. Let's go see Kiev.
Why do you think I'm not dwelling on the fact that my god may be fake?
Maybe save that for inside the building.
Are we inside the building?
No, I went outside.
Oh.
Like out the front door.
I imagine you would discover when Boris stepped outside to smoke.
Oops.
And the Merkava and the
Everything descends on.
But I know it's not that. Descend upon Boris and arrest him for heresy of the highest order.
Right, Kiev's place.
Okay. So you guys go over to Kiev's, and as you guys open the door, he looks at you all and, "Oh, my friends, I was just speaking of you."
You are?
Hi.
Also friends?
Speaking highly, I hope.
Yes, of course, of course.
With whom, if I may ask?
Just some individuals. Interesting people.
Very well. We were actually, I was actually hoping to at least get a quote on, an upgrade to the house.
An upgrade.
I was hoping you may be able to, you say you can get us anything. What would the chances of getting us a room or, something where, we can be free of divination, perhaps? Just a room.
Oh. You afraid somebody is spying on you?
It's happened before. Taking some precautions might be, in order.
Who's your new friend?
Yes, this is out of character. What's your name?
Murakama.
This is Murakama.
Like
Muranaka.
Muranaka, sorry. We just met him the other day. Shortly after you came by the house, actually. Thank you for the charcoal, by the way. It's been,
yes, I
quite
forgot.
helpful.
Yes.
Muranaka, if you'd like to introduce yourself. This is Kiev. He's a friend of ours. He's very good at acquiring things. He's the one that did the paperwork for us to buy that house.
I see. And this method of acquisition is kind of looking expectantly at Kiev.
What's up with this one?
Very straightforward sort of fellow. Kiev is actually it's more of a don't ask, don't tell kind of method of acquisition. We have been assured that it is 100% legal.
Yes, of course, 100%, I'm sure.
110.
Well, I'm not with the Merkava, so don't have to worry about me.
Well, if you're friends of this group, then you're friends of mine. Anyways, what can I do for you? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. There's just so much going on. You need a room because someone's trying to spy on you.
As a
Yes.
precaution.
I think I know a place. Place that's warded. Yes. Oh, you want to go there now?
Oh no, I was actually inquiring about having one added to our house.
Kiev is so
potentially-
confused.
I would like to pay you to have somebody enchant a room in the house to ward it against divination.
Yes, I can make this happen. How about tomorrow evening?
And would this be a permanent enchantment?
We can make it as permanent as you like, depending on how good your money is.
That was the next question. What would the cost of such an enchantment be?
I know a guy, he owes me a favor, yes. Maybe 3,000 dragons?
I will think for a moment and, Makoto, can you help me out a little bit on this one? I'm running a little bit low on cash.
3,000 dragons?
Yes.
I can cover most of it, but, I can cover 2,500.
Or permanent enchantment?
That is correct.
Yeah, I can cover 2,500 if you can cover the extra 500.
Makoto's just gonna slap down the 3,000 dragons.
Or that also works.
Oh, a big spender. Yes, I love it. And he kind of rolls the coin into a small bag. Tomorrow evening, if that is acceptable.
Of course. And I out of character. I assume Kiev is somewhat familiar with the house as he the layout.
You think
given
that he can
bought it for
manage?
us. I'll tell him. I assume there's like a meeting room, like the study kind of place. I'll tell him to ward if they can ward that.
Yeah, no
for
problem.
us. So we now have like a meeting planning room that is warded from divination as of
That is
tomorrow
correct.
night.
Remember, warded? You guys paid a hefty sum, so the warding's going to be pretty good, but it is not perfect.
It's not proof,
Yes.
but it is resistant.
I just wanted to make sure that that was out there.
Oh no, I'm 100% aware that warding is not divination proof, it's divination resistant.
Where's your friend at?
Which one?
The one with the fox?
No, not the... Yes, that's the one, not the annoying one.
The one with the fox is... It's actually, that's a good question. I have no idea.
She really shouldn't be out on these streets alone.
I know.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you've
left
heard
with
all
that?
the rumors.
Habit of wandering off, as you know.
I thought that was me
Yeah,
who had a
me
habit
too.
of wandering off.
Yes, but you've proven yourself quite capable. That one, I do not know yet.
Well,
If Shizuka was there, just...
she'll live. Does anybody else have business they'd like to take up with Kyo? He's very good at acquiring equipment if you're in the market for anything, Morinaka.
I do not think I need anything. I am unsure of what comes next. I am sure in time I will need various provisions, but for now, I am simply biding my time.
But perhaps Kiev can give you a bit of information.
Yes, you said you were speaking of us with
There
somebody.
have been some inquiries on one of your old companions,
Which one?
Oh dear.
Isao.
Oh.
We've actually lost track of him.
Yes, I'm in the midst of tracking him down. If I find him, I will let you know where he is. But others are seeking him as well. I thought that maybe you would want to know.
Thank you for the heads up. It's helpful. Yeah, we actually haven't seen him in a few weeks, in fact. He is not the most welcome person in the city, if you catch my drift.
But
and
I
I'm pretty
imagine
sure
he's
you knew
very
that
good at
already.
hiding.
He's good at laying low. Might even be seeking a way back to our part of back to Dynast at this point, or other parts of Valoris, but unclear. He kind of dropped off the grid. Honestly, a few weeks ago, and before all the business up above the city. Haven't seen him since.
Well, I keep my eyes open for him, but again, I don't trust everyone in the city, and I find it very suspicious that someone is inquiring about him.
Yep. Information is everything in Tantibus.
That it is, my
Indeed.
friend.
Was that the only inquiry about us, or was there potentially anybody looking for us for work?
Oh, you're looking for work?
Well, we have our own things we're looking into, but a bit of pay can never hurt. Could also end up leading us to something interesting or of value to our own inquiries.
Well, so where do I begin? How do you feel about bounties? And he looks directly at you, Hal.
That I am always interested in.
Oh, so strange. I was not expecting this answer.
I find that hard to believe.
Ah, yes. So, as you know, there are a great many things going on about the city. It is causing a bit of disruption on our normal activities. The Order does not so much care for this, so a little cleanup perhaps. If you were able to maybe track down or bring some of these problems to a swifty resolution, we could make some payment for you.
What sort of problems?
All right, so essentially he's going to show you a little bit of a bounty list or describe some of these. He will talk about strange going-ons in the city. He will tell you that there is apparently some gargantuan man running around the city, smashing and stealing things from mostly banks and that sort of thing. Rumor is he's about 20 foot tall and incredibly strong. He will tell you about someone is snatching up young men and they're just disappearing somewhere around the merchant district. And he will let you know that there's been a bit of a drug trade that's going on. So if you dabble, I would be very cautious.
Good to know that those are all things to look into. You guys have any interest in any of these? In taking a look at some of these might lead us to some information.
Know this, though. If you decide to take on these, you won't be working by yourselves. There are many others that are interested.
Fair enough. I can imagine that you have your own network of employees. Makoto, Muranaka, any interest in a giant man, drug dealers, or kidnappings that seem to be instantaneous?
Out of all those, I think the kidnapping one concerns me the most.
Yeah, that one jumped out as well. I mean, as you said, there's others looking into the rest of these. Is it all right if we try to take on all three, but focus on the kidnapping? Kev?
Yes, of course. Like I said, if you're not first, you are last.
Of course.
I almost forgot. So he kind of leans in close and, he brings his hand up like, come in, come close, come listen. There was a rumor I heard the other day.
I imagine you hear a lot of rumors.
Somebody saw a certain individual coming out of the museum.
Which
in a
individual was
large
that?
black cloak.
Really now?
Which individual?
Some say it was Maldark.
Fuck.
But that can't
Who
be
is
true. You
Maldark?
took care of that.
How many days has it been out of character?
5.
Fuck.
Who is
How long has it been since? How long has it been since he was seen coming out of the library?
As you guys continue to talk, you can see the concerned and confused look on Muranaka's face.
That's bad. That's very, 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 very bad. When was this sighting, Kiev?
Just this morning.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's not good.
Kiev will turn to you, Muranaka. Don't worry, they get sidetracked, but Maldark has caused a lot of trouble in the city recently. He is what I believe has been responsible for all the calamity that you see now.
Why do you believe that?
Not an inaccurate statement.
You never trust a wizard, especially a wizard that punches people.
especially a wizard who was undergoing a ritual trying to become a lich. Fuck.
He can't.
Alright.
He can't be alive. Did you not throw him from the top of the arch? That's what that gnome told me.
Well,
You should know, given all of your networks of information, that gnome has stories and cannot always have his word be fully trusted.
I mean, to be fair, Hal, I fell from that arch and I'm fine.
That wasn't my point. Jesus Christ. So,
He does have a point, though.
it gives me the impression that his ritual may have been slightly more successful than we thought.
So let me get this straight. You fought this guy who wanted to become a lich. You threw him off a large ledge, and you just assumed he died.
No, he literally melted, and we assumed he died. That being said, he probably did die, and he's probably still dead. It's just that the dead don't always stay dead.
They also believe that they took care of his certain item that keeps him bound, which apparently is not the case if he is truly alive.
What have I gotten myself to?
Deep shit.
I think you're worrying about it a bit too much. If he is alive, we find him, we kick his ass, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that is fighting spirit.
I'm sure that's exactly how it'll go.
Well, if we come across him again, I will make sure that it gets done right this time.
Have I told you that have I told you before that I really like the way you think?
Like a normal person?
Yeah, like a normal person.
Awesome.
Is that so rare around here?
You'd be surprised.
I'm not sure I want to be on this team.
We do have interesting experiences and luck.
Shizuka, we're going to reintroduce you kind of in the party. You find out from Machado that they went down to speak to Kiev. On your way there, a little, it kind of looks like a bird, but it has a very long, flowing tail. Will come up to you. You'll see that it is indeed an origami shape. Looks like somebody had sent a note. It basically tries to go to you where the notebook is, where the rest of the paper.
So Shizuka will pull out her notebook and open it.
And the note is stickied in the Discord. I'm sorry, it is not stickied.
Check your ads. Check your mentions.
Direct messages.
I can repost it as well.
Something.
Well, I don't have a direct message.
Boom. It says, there is someone looking for you who wants the sun to shine again.
A bit late.
Yep. And Shizuka will just like nod and close the book, letting like the bird fade back into the book.
Okay. At this point, you will arrive at the what I presume is the tail end of the Kiev conversation. As you open the door, that beholder lights up. Rah.
Shizuka almost shoots a chaos bolt at it, but then realizes, wait a minute. And she'll just make her way to like the front end where she thinks Kiev is.
Yeah, they're sitting there talking with the rest of your party.
Oh. Hello.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, where did you run off to?
Don't worry about it.
I'm now even more worried about it.
Oh, so Kev, I got your message, and she holds up the notebook.
That is not my message.
Is this not your handwriting? And she flips open to the page and shows him the note.
He reaches his hand out like, you know, can I examine this?
And she does, so she hands him the page.
Sure. And he will turn to Makoto. Remember that group I was speaking of? One of them insisted they send you a message. I apologize it has arrived so late.
So that's their handwriting. Someone
Well
looking for you who wants the sun to shine again.
Kiev kind of like, I do not know what this means.
It's kind of impressive. This is the most cryptic thing I've heard all fucking day.
Yeah.
Well, let's just walk through it. Obviously, this means that the sun is not shining. So what is the sun?
Makoto just points up.
As does Shizuka.
Yes, I meant in a figurative sense. What could represent the sun?
Oh, it's
The moon?
what?
Kiev goes, I know! A piece of hot coal!
Yes, a piece of hot coal. Exactly.
Actually,
What else could it represent?
might be somewhat literal in this case.
Was the sun not shining?
The sun is indeed shining. However, the city has lost its power due to the damage that was caused to the arch.
Again, the moon.
So either it's a reference to the archway providing power to the city, or it's referring to Amaterasu.
Amata. What?
Don't worry about it, Kiev.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
God stuff.
I'm not sure if I've heard of this. Amaterasu.
Shizuka's brow twitch at that, but says nothing.
What is it with you and all these high-powered gods?
Oh, it is a god.
Well, they're more interesting than the low-powered gods that apparently don't show up.
Kiev does not know.
I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
Alright, so the someone wants the sun to shine again. That's great and all, but there's like no contact information on this thing, right?
Well, theoretically, then we can contact them with the thing.
Wait.
Contact.
Do they have a book, Kiev? Or was this from you?
Yes,
their
I was
behalf.
kind enough to loan them a small notebook.
Do you have a way? Oh, then we can contact them.
Oh, is that how this works? Kiev, it's not very good at sarcasm.
So, who wants to make our message even more cryptic than theirs? I do.
If you can think of how to do that,
Let's
I
make
could
it
give
so
it a
cryptic
try.
that it's not at all cryptic.
Oh, I can help. Because I am not good with subtlety.
I've got this.
That's true. He is not.
Just draw a thumbs up on the page.
Yeah, just draw a thumbs up.
No, when you guys decide what message you want to send, go ahead and After Dark.
Okie doke.
And keep track of your sheets.
Oh no.
Sun, thumbs up.
You
Is that
reply,
actually what
copy
we're going
that.
I don't know. No, let's actually think about it some. or do that. Like, that could eventually be the plan we come up with, but like, let's think about it first.
Just make it something so obscure.
Opportunity. You know what? That actually works.
Opportunity can be found when the cherry blossoms fall under the moon's gaze. What does that mean? I don't know.
I have no idea.
The message is so cryptic, even we don't know it.
Oh my God.
Just write a random haiku. It'll be fine.
I've got an idea.
I mean, I could make something up for sure, but
Oh, I was gonna say something like, I was gonna. We're at House Zundra. We live at House Zundra, right?
House of Stool.
House of Stool?
House of Stool. I mean, if we want to be a little more blunt, we could go with hi, welcome back.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything you guys were saying because you guys went all robotic.
Ugh.
Ugh.
So what was just been said?
We're trying to come up with a message to send back. What were you going to say about something to do with House of Stool?
I was gonna say, how about we just give them a direct invitation to House of Stool?
That could work.
Like for what? You mean to invite them over for dinner?
I will be back.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I just realized the time. Do you guys want to take just like a quick 5-minute break?
Yeah, I really need to use the restroom.
Yeah.
So we'll
Same.
say 5. Let's try to be back like 25-ish after. Sound good?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I just realized a potential issue.
What's that?
Elevator.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like you guys didn't have to overcome adversity.
Are we just gonna be like, hey, figure it out?
It's up to you.
That's what that's gonna be the what's it called? That's the riddle. How do you come see us?
If such and such wants to meet you so badly.
That's a good point. So, there's an idea then. If you're serious about the sun shining again, meet us at House of Stool.
Any other thoughts or objections?
Not really, no.
All right, so you get to work crafting the note. You pull a page from the notebook, scribe your message, and it kind of it helps you fold it. And who scribed the message?
I'll scribe it.
Okay. You see a little, almost like a fox-like character, just kind of scurry off. Very good. All right. So what do you guys wish to do? You've got a few other clues, of course, with if Maldark has returned. Someone stated that he's been seen at the museum.
Well, if he's there, there's clearly something there that he was interested in, or something. Maybe we should. I'd say let's go and see what's there.
I agree. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay. As you guys kind of move through the city over towards, you're moving out of the kind of the merchant quarter into the more the administrative area. One thing is going to catch your guys' fancy. You see a lot of the Merkava stationed outside of one of the buildings. They seem to be kind of set up as guard. This evening, it looks like they're getting ready to usher off a horse and cart. However, out of the side of the building, you can see a large section has just been completely removed. And however they did it, they did not use any sort of grace whatsoever. You can see the stone just kind of piled there amongst the street.
How big is this hole?
Oh, it's a good... at this distance, you kind of judge it somewhere between 15 and 25 foot length and width.
25 foot in both directions. Oh. Big ass hole.
Indeed.
Alright.
Alright, moving on. As you guys get closer to the museum, it's none too busy as they're just getting ready to kind of close down for the evening. You guys head inside, and you're greeted by the same individual that kind of gave you the tour before. They kind of gaze upon you. Oh, you've returned.
Indeed.
Hi.
Oh, wait, I wasn't there.
So,
Can I help you?
Yes, we were actually looking for. We were interested in looking at some older relics that you might have.
Oh,
Do you happen to have anything of the sort?
I'm afraid we have nothing like that here. She kind of laughs.
You have nothing of the Tantibinian from old Tantibus.
She kind of rolls her eyes at the Aarakocra and kind of moves towards the rest. Yeah, I mean, I can show you around a little bit. We haven't much time. We're actually getting ready to close.
I'm gonna let Makoto take over.
I was actually wondering, what happened with the wall outside?
The wall? She seems slightly confused.
You've got the big ass hole in the wall.
Wasn't that the bank?
You mean across? Oh, yes, of course. Well, I've only heard rumor. I didn't see what happened. Apparently, she kind of whispers, even though there's not a lot of people in the museum. And 1 second. Too many screens, not enough mouse. So, the rumor is there's some Goliath roaming the streets. Early in the morning, apparently he had broken into the bank and nearly cleaned house.
Oh. That sounds unfortunate.
Yeah, a lot of
Goliath, you said?
They say, I've heard everything, 20, 30 foot tall.
Huh.
A hairy, bestial man. Perhaps it was something that came down from the mountains. I don't know. A lot of strange going-ons in these parts. She's trying to talk about something, but also not trying to talk about it. She's none too good at hiding it.
Seems odd that they would care so much about money if they came from the mountains, don't you think?
That I don't know. I've heard a few other banks have been struck. Thankfully, we've not suffered any sort of damages or anything like that. Again, when she talks, she's trying to hide something. She's not very good at it.
Can I use Fey Presence to attempt a charm?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There's the DC.
All right, let's give it a roll. Can you toss Fey Presence down so I can read it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Charmed, okay. So she just kind of starts rambling and talking. Yeah, it was so strange this morning. I come into work and the janitor, he was in a tizzy. He just kept talking about some corpse that was roaming about within the museum. He kind of hid in one of the side rooms. Wasn't disturbed, but this person, he described them wearing almost like a dark cloak that's been tattered and torn, and his face wasn't all there.
Would it trouble you if we checked the side room?
I suppose. We'll have to be quick.
Of course.
She starts to move over.
While we're walking, I will also ask, have you noticed anything missing this morning?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, we don't catalog every day, but why? What do you think happened?
Oh, it's a very long story. It would be something small, probably worth a lot of money. Silver on its silver etchings on the outside. I don't expect you to know offhand, but if you come across something of that description missing,
yeah, if something comes up missing, yeah, we'll absolutely need to get that back.
Of course.
You're walking, you're talking. She heads over to the side room, opens it up. It seems to be like a storage sort of closet. You can see some of the boxes and such have been moved around. There's still a bucket full of water and a mop laying there. Shizuka.
Mm-hmm.
As you glance in the bucket, at first, it appears to be just an ordinary bucket full of kind of soapy, murky water. But the waters start to churn and move. And the bucket begins to glow in that bluish turquoise light. And as the kind of scum starts to separate in the water, you look down and you see what you presume to be Sasano. You can't see his face, but he's almost been imprisoned. It appears to be coral, but almost all the life has been kind of drained out of it, all the bright, vibrant colors. And you swear it has an almost like, instead of being hard and rough and porous, almost this down like feathery quality to it. And then it just goes back to being a normal bucket.
Shizuka will actually visibly stumble for a bit and then just like hold her head like she's had a headache.
What's up?
I need to talk to our benefactor.
Again?
You're not gonna... You're not gonna go alone this time, are you?
I didn't go to talk with her last time, but I think I might need your help with this one. Like, I tried to do something on my own, but... But yeah, I need to talk to her. And she'll actually exit the room, looking very upset.
Okay.
And there's nothing in the side room?
It appears just to be a storage closet. She again just says that this is where the janitor bravely hid. While that whatever creature roamed about in the early hours of the morn.
That's my mistake.
Appears to be a dead end. Or was it?
Well, now that you've said that, I'm making an investigation check.
Okay. As you look about the room, one thing is really going to draw yourself to it. The wooden shaft of this object laying against the side of the wall appears to be very exquisite, kind of adorned with white kind of filaments. You see that this is no ordinary mop. It is definitely masterwork.
Well, that's oddly.
You literally find nothing. Nothing out of the
okay.
ordinary, so to speak.
Okay, so you were just fucking with me. Got it.
I totally was.
You have found the most extraordinary small room ever.
The mop of cleaning +1.
Perfect.
It was starting to sound like you were describing a secret lever.
I know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like you magically find a broom of flying in this broom closet. The janitor had no idea what he had and has been cleaning the floors with it.
Nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems the Maldark thing has come to a dead end here. Maybe the janitor has more information, but he is not around.
You come up with something possibly missing.
That is correct, but that's going to take some time as they're going to have to catalog,
yeah.
as there are a great many objects located within the museum.
But the janitor, I assume, has gone home for the day.
Yeah, he works the morning shift. He comes in and cleans before anybody else is in.
All right. Who wants to come in and talk to him in the next morning?
I mean, we all can come back tomorrow morning. We also have other leads we can run down. Not about this, but, you know, we do have other matters we can look into for the time being.
That's
Right.
true.
As you guys start to exit out of this establishment, she of course is going to walk you guys to the door. You're walking, you're talking, and all of a sudden you notice that she has stopped. She's about maybe 10 paces behind you. Her skin has turned a bright, pale white.
Are you okay?
She starts to raise her right arm and just stuttering as she points up towards one of the catwalks that runs across the front of the museum.
Looking
I
up.
will immediately turn and point an arrow.
Nice. As you look over and up, you see the visage of someone that you've recently met. You see the dark black cloak. It is very much tattered and torn. They have very little underneath that you can tell. Not dressed in the typical adornments that they once had. Hello, my friends.
Identify yourself.
You do not speak to a god this way.
Who is it?
It is very much Maldark.
Oh, actually, yes, I do speak to gods that way.
Damn it, why aren't we 9th level? How high up is he?
So the museum, of course, is a very large structure. You would estimate the catwalk would be roughly maybe the third and a half story.
So like 60 feet? What's vertical jump with a, what's it called? With a running start?
It's like 3 feet plus your strength modifier.
Yeah, it's not a ton.
Oh, damn. So that's only 5. I can triple that, but that's only 15, which is not enough.
And I'm going to say, I can speak to gods how I want. In fact, I've met 2 already. They were very nice. Well, one of them was nice, the other one not so much.
It is so nice to see you again.
Actually, I've never seen you before in my life.
She's dark. That's Maldark.
Oh, so I should shoot this arrow at him?
Yes.
I let the arrow fly.
All right. So again, your aim is pretty true. You let the arrow go, and you can see it pass through his body as it kind of wavers a little bit.
Hey, is he like the god of shadows or something? Because I don't think I hit him.
Probably an illusion.
You don't think I'm truly here now, do you?
I'm gonna shoot another one at him just to be safe.
And it will also pass through.
Okay, I'm starting to believe that it is not really him.
Don't worry, we will meet very soon.
In like 5 minutes?
Unfinished business.
Right. You still need another ass kicking. The other one wasn't as good. It didn't feel that good.
Get down here, you crappy third-rate god knockoff.
You could strike me down 1,000 times. I will rise to the occasion once again.
Was that a shitty pun? Get the fuck down here.
So you're saying I should buy 1,001 arrows?
That's exactly what he's saying.
What are you, god of puns?
Goodbye for now.
Oh, and with
Wait.
that, you're just gonna leave? Come on.
Yeah.
I
and-
have one question.
Yeah,
I think he's gone.
he's gone, but ask your question.
Aw. I wanted to ask him what his
Favorite color was? Yeah.
I turn to the attendant and just like comfort her and say like, I'm very sorry you had to go through this again. Luckily, he wasn't actually here. I'm so sorry.
It's true.
Sorry about the ceiling. Kind of put a couple arrows in there.
He's not actually a god. He's a very powerful wizard who thinks himself a god.
He's going to kill us all. She's
Not
very
if we
frightened.
do anything. Not if we can do anything about it. That said, it's very important that we find out if something is missing. I think he may have taken something from here that is part of his power. He may have done something to it.
I will speak to the owner. Whatever you need.
It would likely be something donated by Maldark. In the large batch of artifacts that he donated
By
a few
Malchus
weeks ago.
Dravanen.
Yeah, I would say that name.
Yeah.
By Malchus Dravanen. In the large batch of artifacts that he donated a few weeks ago.
I'll go look right now. And she turns and she just runs.
I'm just gonna put a hand on her shoulder real quick before she runs off.
Do you say anything or just that reassuring?
I was just like, relax. We'll take care of it.
Oh, it would have been funny if you would have put your hand on her shoulder and went, "Hey."
My name is not Miles Morales. So
Yeah, you think that maybe some of that comfort is transferred over, but she takes off like a bolt. You can see one of her shoes just goes flying as it's not able to keep up with that kind of semi-heel that she was wearing.
So, do you want me to go get your arrows?
Oh, it is no matter. I will just have to get some more.
So, Makoto, as you've probably picked up on, I think his phylactery was here, his true phylactery.
Yep.
Given that he showed back up here, it would have been he regenerated here, and that would mean his phylactery is here, or was here. He likely took it.
Also, the comment on rising again every time we strike him down does sound like a witch.
My thoughts exactly.
Yep.
Good times. Do you guys have any friends in the city besides Kiev?
There's those other two guys in the Order of the Eye. Some of the Bogatyr.
Oh, the constable.
The constable.
He likes us.
I think.
We're vaguely useful to him.
I'm on speaking terms with Grushenko.
I mean, he helped Kosui, which means he doesn't completely hate us.
Yeah, helped Kosui. Sure, that's the word we're looking for.
I mean, he's helped us a number of times and didn't arrest us the last time he came to our house.
That's
So,
true.
like, speaking terms, at least.
Although I kind of want to talk to him at some point later on.
We probably need to, at the very least, let him know that Meldark is back and to watch his back. At least what we found out so far. We can then probably start looking into the kidnappings or the giant or the drug dealers.
Or the phylactery.
Or the Sun Bros that seem to want to talk to us.
Well, I don't know if there's any... Yeah, that as well. I don't know if there's anything we can do with the phylactery until we know if anything's missing from the museum. Knowing what it is will definitely help us.
There's also, you can figure out what's going on with Shizuka.
Yeah, we could figure that out.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea.
Shizuka would tell us. By the way, I missed it. Did Shizuka wander off again?
It's a secret.
No, she's just been silent. And then, like, Daigo's just been there, just trying to nip at her heels to try to get her to say something.
Alright, Zuka, what's up?
I need to talk to... Like, she says this to Makoto specifically. I need a way to talk to, the Raven Queen herself.
And... First, how? Second, why?
First, I think I found where Susanoo is being held.
Held?
Or at least where our artifact is supposed to be.
Alright. That
is vague and unhelpful.
And she's saying this to Makoto only.
Yeah. I mean, I would have pretty much said the same thing, to be honest.
Passive perception of 22. We're in the same room.
And Sylvan, can you speak bird?
Okay, you could have
It's
said
not
in
bird.
Sylvan.
It's not bird.
It's
I
fang,
speak
and,
bird.
Like, you could have said that.
Alright, yeah, fine, never mind. If you do have the passive perception for it, then Hal can hear it.
It may, if he doesn't speak the language, he doesn't understand.
I didn't.
No. Here's the thing.
That it wasn't
I said
in that
it.
language.
Yeah, because the thing is, I added in Sylvan as an afterthought. I didn't announce it beforehand. So if he has a perception, he can hear it.
Oh no, I just mumble that that's vague and unhelpful, and that's all.
Not to mention
Which
body
you would-
language.
To be fair, Zuka would have heard it anyway.
Yeah.
Alright. Where is this?
At the docks. Follow me.
All right.
And she heads out with, I'm assuming Makoto following her.
Absolutely.
Follow him.
Yeah, I assume the whole party is going to take interest in this.
This sounds like a whole party thing.
So I'll describe the scene as you guys start to move over in and through the quarter of Salt. You can see the decimation that has happened here on the docks. Makoto, you've been over here probably the most. You can see one of the bars that you had frequented over here is just kind of been flooded out as though like a great tidal wave has come and rushed in. You see the remnants of one of the great galleys that was birthed here, destroyed along with part of the dock as Shizuka walks you guys down towards the end of it.
And this is it.
The water?
It's underneath the water.
As Makoto says, the water, and this will be visible to everyone. It starts to, again, the sea, so it doesn't really part, but again, you see that bluish kind of turquoise light start to light up, and the murk is kind of pushed away. And down below, you can see what appears to be some sort of makeshift structure. Bits of coral, rock, parts of the ship, the dock has been all kind of crammed together to make some sort of underground structure, building down below.
Right, and how deep does that look?
It's pretty deep, maybe several hundred, maybe 100 foot or so.
And how are we getting down to that?
I mean, there's a pretty obvious way I could think of.
Boris just elects to fly one of you down. Who wants to go?
Can
Down.
you
Fly down in the water?
the water?
Oh, right.
So, to the entire party, within your heads, you hear,
Believers of the Kabi, I seek out to you. Come, free me.
That sounds like an invitation to me. Makoto's just gonna dive in.
God,
And Shizuka dives in as well.
All right, fuck it. And
I am hesitant. Dive in.
okay, I believe you. So, yeah, you're probably not accustomed to strange voices appearing in your head.
I am.
So, do you guys have any sort of means to breathe underwater, as it is quite a distance down?
I was gonna roll athletics constitution.
Okay.
Shizuka just turns into a shark again.
I'm just, also gonna roll with it, see what happens.
So, as you guys are diving down under the water, it's a bit murky about, and as you guys are making your way down towards the structure, you see schools of fish kind of skitter off, maybe a few crabs just kind of scuttling about. And then out of the corner of your eye, something large starts to move. Long and tentacle. At the end are these small little suction cups. Now this object, roughly maybe 20 foot in length. It's hard to see as it's mostly masked in shadow. But at the end, there's this almost a hooked barb as it dives towards the party. And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
Jesus.
My word.